good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in this world. I am your humble host, Hawkeye Two Feathers, aka David Null, and I welcome you with the honor of the infinite creator and of the ever present goddess. And I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings in the universe. With that said, many folks, the knowledge in the universe, what does it matter? Hey, Katniss, good morning. And what does it matter? And well, it depends on how you look at it. I'm in one of them moods. I got a friend of mine that's going to be operated on at 10 o'clock this morning, and I can't sleep. It's a really serious operation. He's had stents put in his heart and all kinds of stuff, but this and they got to rip him. They have to rip him open from one end to the other. I'd never heard of it, Katniss. His arteries going to his bowels have messed up, and he's already got a heart condition, you know. So somehow it's messing with his heart, and it's messing with his bowels. So you say, well, well, his kidneys are going bad, with the shock, trying to keep his kidneys up. That's good, got him on an IV bag. And if the swelling don't go down in my legs, I'm going to have to go back into the hospital. It is what it is. So what you got planned in your head ain't necessarily what comes out in the real world. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow, man, I'm going to be doing this thing and I'm going to be doing this thing. And then I got my check. And the Social Security they gave me the money back last year. Social Security, yeah, I had to sign a thing. Friend of mine, yeah, great, great. I signed the thing. I signed the paper again this year, and it's legal beagle. It's sitting right over there somewhere. But talk with the lady, in Hotlanta and in charge of the stuff. Everything's groovy. I get my check. It's $200 short. My Social Security check is $200 short. What? Take a deep breath. My Social Security is $200 short. Dominic, how are you? It might sound like I'm a little cranky. I am. Oh, but it's time for a 20 and I want to get rid of that thought. No, I mean, my Social Security check came in $200 short. That $200 short was going to be my vacation money and my birthday money to help pay for my tags and So now I still have to pay for my tags. But I ain't got no extra money. It's okay. It's okay. At least I have money to pay it. A few years ago, I didn't have it. This this year, but I did get a Social Security check. Well, deposit, and so I did get my $1,400, which was supposed to be 17. Somehow I got shortchanged this month. I'm gonna no more Hulu, no more Disney, no more any of these other ones. I am getting rid of them all. This month and next month, apparently, or and from here on out, I'm not going to be able to afford these premium channels. Why? Because the money that I'm spending on premium channels, I am going to have to sock away for the insurance on the Jeep. It's okay. It's all right. Take a deep breath. It is what it is, right? I have talked to you all about when stuff comes in, you have to adapt. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm going to be calling Social Security, and I'm going to be calling that lady today and saying, okay, what happened? And in the meantime, I'm going to be praying for my buddy who's going to be operated on at 10 o'clock. I keep sliding that in. I wish for life lessons. And so, listen. Well, see, Dominic, uh, for the last year, that extra money, that's actually mine, okay? But $175 comes out of almost everybody's check, Social Security. And that's your basic price for your insurance. $175 a month. I'm on Social Security, but if I want my Social Security insurance is $175 a month, right off the top. So they say, well, you make, $1,800 a month. No, I don't, because $180 of that comes right off the top for insurance for us old people. So we're paying for each other's insurance. And other folks out there are going like, well, we got the insurance. I don't know. I don't know about Obamacare because I have my insurance that gets took out my check every month. So anyway, I sign up for this low income, help me out kind of thing. And the low income help me out kind of thing gave me that $175 in my, it's mine. But instead, this low income thing paid my insurance last year. So I got to keep that $175. And it's been great. I've been able to do some things, pack back a little bit of money for the Jeep when my brother passed away. God love you, Danny. But it's expensive to keep up, in my humble opinion, because I am on limited income. And so that $175 a month was like, well, I can take care of the Jeep because I got that extra money. Not anymore. For whatever reason, they took it out. So I'm $175 short, almost 200. I still got to pay my bills. I I put gas in the Jeep yesterday. $50 gave me 3/4. Oh yes, it is. $50 gave me 3/4 of a tank of gas. Now, for my dear friend Dante, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis. I can't drink beer, but I can do this. Stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis. The X is for Dante and everybody else, you know. So I can't do the Dos Equis thing with the guy, but I'm freaking old. Stay thirsty, my friend. Dos Equis. It's my new logo. You know, I'm goofing around, okay? I'm goofing around, but I'm not. Budweiser and the Ball is the only beer for me. And, you know, I loved Molson's for some reason. I got me a Molson's way back when and cold. I was like, now I have drank all kinds of beer. Schlitz, you know, we had a Schlitz brewery down the street where I grew up. I couldn't go in, but you know, they made it. And on the other end of 30th Street, there was Budweiser and Busch Gardens. So the theme for tonight, this morning, is actually a good theme. Stay thirsty, my friends, for knowledge. Thirsty for what? Thirsty for life. You know, um, I, usually end up being up this time morning. Um, but at 10 o'clock this morning, I know I'm not trying to beat it into the ground, okay? But one of the reasons I'm up is because of my friend at 10 o'clock this morning, right? Yes, ma'am, I did. The beer you're having when you're having more than one. Yep. Well, I'm having more than one of this, okay? This is my beer. This is my, I got to get it right. I had it the other night. since I can't have a beer. I had my fingers crossed in an X with the bowl of sake. Stay thirsty, my friends. Dos sake. And there's my X. I'm out of beer, so it's puff puff pass. Yep. And I can't have beer, so and I took my pills, so I'm really feeling good, man. Because that ranolazine, it it makes me trip. It really does. But I can't stop taking it, or my heart's gonna go walk knock. So I bumped into this gentleman yesterday. He was pumping gas, and so was I. Never seen the guy in my life. And he sees got my back brace on, you know. It's at the end of my trip. I'm putting gas in the vehicle and I'm heading back out here to the house. I done grocery shopping, you know. So but now this is interesting. Now hush up. Don't know this guy's name. And he starts in and he's like, "Man, you got a back brace on there, huh?" And I go, "Yes, sir." Him doing a lot of pain? Well, you know, comes and goes, and then, you know, with the back brace goes my, you know, my heart issue, my heart issues, and he goes, "Oh, you got heart issues?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, no, yeah." And he pulls his t-shirt up, you know, and I loved it. I was like, "What the hell?" Pulls his t-shirt up, you know, something I would do. And he's like, "I'm on the monitor right now, you know. I'm gonna have a heart cath done. It's already scheduled and blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "I've had two of those done," and we start to converse. Now, here are two old men. He bumped into me. He started conversation. I don't have a problem. If somebody else started conversation, that's usually my job, you know. Stay thirsty, my friends. So the um conversation, you know, and he's like, "Yeah," and he goes, "I've lost all my teeth, and all I can do is just you know, grind." I think he said grind on his food, and back and forth we went, and had a little heart to heart. And I told him, I said, "You know, I've had two heart calves. It's they got it down pat. You know, it's real interesting. They'll find out about your heart, and yeah, and yeah, and how about that stuff? You know, and well, and me and my wife, we changed my diet. I've lost 25 pounds, and I'm off of my pills, and I'm gonna, you know." And he was sort of clean cut. You know, he was pretty much clean cut. Not not like not like not clean cut going to an office building clean cut. No, no, not that. He was just hair. He didn't have a. He had a short beard and white hair, and his hair was cut short, not like mine. So we're still having conversation, and he's like, "Well, you know, because my finished pumping my gas 5 minutes before." But he finishes up his, and we're having good conversation. And he's like, "You know," he's like, "Man, but I don't give up." He goes, I might not be able to use my false teeth, and I might just have to gum my food." He said, "But I'll gnaw on a steak all day long. I'm still breathing, I'm still here. We got to keep going, right? And I was like, absolutely, got to keep walking, got to keep, etc. And it's true. You got to stay thirsty, my friends. And what he was telling me yesterday, uh, yeah, we're still kicking, but staying thirsty for life. He looks at me and he looks around and he's standing, on the concrete thing where the pumps are. So, and I'm standing on the parking lot. So he's a little higher than me, he's standing on the concrete. And so, and he's looking around the parking lot, I looked at his tag. He was from out of town, and he's just looking around. So he just stopped there to get gas, really, and we were having conversation. So I'll be 60 in less than 2 weeks. Whoa. Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, you let me know. We'll, we'll do. Happy birthday to you. You belong in a zoo. You smell like a monkey, and you look like one too. Yeah, buddy. Um. So, but thirsty for life, and he even used that phrase. He says you got to be thirsty for life, and you gotta still want it, and you gotta. And I was like, hell yeah, And I'm standing there, and I'd been to the hospital for the test yesterday, and it was a breathing test, and fuck, had to walk the long haul in the hospital. Son of a bitch. I had everybody stop and want to get me a wheelchair. And I'm like, no, God dog it, I'm bound and determined to make it back out this door. But that hallway in the hospital, it's like from one end of the hospital all the way to the other. You think you're going into another state. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, God. So they come and get me to go for the breathing test, right? And I'm like, okay, so how far do I have to go this time? Because, I know where radiology is. And then there's the big radiology for the cardiac corona something radiology. And it's all the way down the hall to that radiology. Stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis. Dos Equis. But so anyway, um, I could only go so many feet at walking, and the pain shoots up my back, and I have to stop, adjust, stand there till I can get it to go away, and then I can continue walking. It's the way it is. So 20 feet, 30 feet. Ow! Oh, shit. Oh. There goes one. So, stay thirsty, my friend. So, anyway, we're having this conversation. Don't know this guy, out from Adam. Everybody sees me with the white beard, and it seems like they want to have conversation with me. I'm serious. And then at the same gas station, black car pulls in, black lady gets out, and she's like, "Oh, hi," and I'm like, she looks familiar, and then I seen her uniform. She works at Arby's, where I go in and ring the bell and talk to all the staff and everything, and I tell them how good they are, and they are. I don't know, Katniss. I was like, I'm not trying to put on airs. Okay. I'm in a t-shirt, a back brace, and shorts, and them things that I wear in the water, that are easy to dry. Uh, they snap around my feet, and there's barely any thread in there, to the floor. But so yesterday, my this new feeling that's come over me, I'm still trying to figure it out. And I'm like, I look at myself in the mirror for just a second and I go, holy crap. No, I did shave. I did trim up and cut some hair around here, around my ears. And I'm trying to decide what to do with the beard. Um, I did have it tied until just before it came on, but it's convenient to tie it when I'm at the house here. And because it's gross if I when I go into that snot burger, and it will literally drip into my beard. And it's like, no. I looked at the lady yesterday, and I asked her, I said, I got to have a napkin, please. She was, for what? And I'm like, man, my nose is running. You got my nose pinched off for me to do this breathing exercise. When you pinch my nose off, it wants to run. And so, okay, but she was like, it's holding a box of tissue. I don't touch me. And I'm like, okay, I need a couple of these because, bodily functions be damned. They work without me, they would work without my permission. So anyway, go separately teppy. Oh, it's gonna be weird. Yeah, buddy. Um, so I'm telling you, I haven't seen the little people in a long time, but there are things that are moving in places that shouldn't be moving, like down there on the floor. Uh, Whatever. I've got a couple of things stacked up. My albuterol is down here temporarily, and a piece of paper and a napkin, and the instructions, and my pharmacy thing for them. So they're sitting down here on the floor out of the way. But the paper from one of them is moving. Why? It ain't supposed to be moving. So, but anyway, in staying thirsty, we've exchanged these things. And the last thing he's like that, he said, um, the biggest thing I have to make a decision on now, and looking forward to life. And he's like, I'm looking forward to a good juicy steak. And whether or not I should try to gum it or put my false teeth in, because the lower jaw is going to fall out. He said, God, when you come down hard with your false teeth, and he said, if that bottom one comes out and it turns sideways, and you take a big hard bite, he said, it hurts like hell. Your jaw all up in here. And he goes, yeah. So he goes, yeah, that's what I need to worry about. but I'm going to use false teeth to chew my steak. And I said, well, sir, I don't have any teeth either. I said, I got a couple of tiny little spikes that stick up, not much. And I said, you want to know, Travis? Namaste. So I said, you want to know the secret for people with no teeth, how to chew a steak? And I thought he was like, well, no, I got it, buddy. I'm going to do this. But he stops and he goes, what? And I said, you have to get one of them really thin knives that is really sharp, keep your fingers out of the way. And I said, and you have to slice that steak real thin. So, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, if you have trouble chewing your steak, cut it thinner with a good sharp knife. And you can juice will come out of the steak. You can sop the piece in, but instead of trying to take a big old honker bite and you can take a honker bite, just slice it thin. Nobody will know. It's like, what are you doing? I'm slicing my steak thin, dear. Will you leave me the fuck alone? Darling, I didn't mean to. So he's standing on the corner of the 12th Street in Vine. No, he's standing on the island, for the yeah, we was at the islands yesterday. Yeah, the islands there at the gas station where the pumps were. you know, but he turns to me earnestly and honestly and goes, "Really? Is that the secret?" And I love my steak. I gotta go to some. I gotta go in tomorrow and see if I can get some. But and he goes, "Is that really the?" And so I was like, "Yes, sir. Just slice it thin. Don't worry about it. But got to have a good sharp knife. You got to have one of them little thin blade knivies thingies. I I got one that's the blade width is about this wide, but the thickness of the blade is like this, and it's real sharp. Um, and I got them on sale years ago. There were two of them for $10 or something, and I don't know where the other one is. And somebody broke the tip off of this one. Honest to God, it wasn't me. I went down in my kitchen and was like, "Who broke the tip of my good knife?" I'm still using it though, and it's still sharp. But so if you don't have any teeth or you have trouble chewing, and you love steak and you think you can't have none, the answer is cutting it thin. Stay frisky, my friends. You know. Hey, Chloe, what you doing? You weren't here earlier, were you? And Travis, how are you? I haven't. Well, I can't see you really, but um, I'm I'm gonna have some more of this. Puff puff pass. That was a good one. Have one with me, X. 60, huh? Oh, good, Travis. I have missed you all, and it it's interesting as my shaman journey. Okay, it's interesting because I don't unless I got to go to the hospital or a doctor or something. Um, I get to do whatever I want to, which is normally not much. But I mean, and that's got to stop. Just saw you were live. Yeah, well, I did it for you. You know, um, I know you all are out there in the universe because when I say I continue to pray each and every day for each and every one of you that you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. I mean it when I say it. And so, and, um, and when I say that prayer, and all of you, and sometimes I include, all of your relatives and all of your relations, which means every damn body, all your rocks, your chickens, your goats, if you got them, you know. Um, but so when I say that, and I can feel in my head, I can feel in my energy, in my aura, I can feel me and all of you and all of your friends and all of your, and my brain is doing this thing with a hand, right? And it's going out and weaving around, and no matter how far away you are, one of my subscribers, God bless you all, one of you folk, my friends, that come in and we chat. Um, so there is this psychic arm that goes out to find you, to scoop you up and bring in for a big cosmic hug. Not a squeeze now, but just everybody. For me, this is me now. Nobody else, nobody else knows what's going on. But for me, I'm like, I'm reaching out to all of you to give you that little squeeze. Now, if you're nearby and I give you a hug, you're gonna know you got hugged. And because there are folks like, you squeeze the breath right out of me. I will, you know. But then you and I will take a big deep breath and hug again. How about my hair, right? So anyway, I honest to God, I don't know what to do with it. Um, but every time I say the prayer, even at the beginning of my podcast here, um, and by the way, stay thirsty, my friends. I'm doing learning how to do a stare like I was doing. Anyway, who is that? Oh, that's Chloe. Hey, X Chloe. All right. It's really tiny over there where the. Oh, I've been watching all your past videos. You be for a while, and when you don't, what? I miss you. Well, I miss you too. And that's one of the things, you know, I can, unfortunately, I can feel y'all out there in the quantum, right? Because we have met here now again. So this is a lesson. Stay thirsty, my friends. Cheers. I'm going to have another one of these. Uh, but because we're coming, you all have come together, saw the light come on. Ooh, he's alive. And we're in here and I'm yapping at you. But what we're doing is we're sharing in the quantum. I'm not trying to mind meld with you or anything. This isn't some kind of gimmick. What it is a lesson in how we can communicate using the quantum. So I start the live feed. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, who's awake? Who wants to come? You know, who's awake? Who wants to come? And I just leave it to the universe, and then folks start popping on. So since I probably a bad thing, but I have never meant this channel to be about numbers. It's about people I meet, you meet, folks that pop in from out of nowhere. I say we've had some excellent people come in and chat and bring their, points of view by, and I'm proud of that, What, 800 and something people? I don't look, but I should. Somebody subscribed the other day, and I was like, what really? But there are still there are still people who want to subscribe to my channel. Really? God bless y'all. But we can have a chat, and as long as you're not rude, you will be friends forever. And if if you sign up, now you too can be a member of the League of Like-Minded Beings. Stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis. Okay. No, but we are. Uh-oh. Oh man, I messed it up. Is that the end? Hang on, y'all. I, I hit the scroll for the chat, and it went nuts. So I got to bring it back. Stop that. Okay, I caught up. Well, Travis, I'm glad that you had to go to the bathroom and that you could pop on with and say hi. Um, but in the spirit of the quantumness, you know, um, I'm seeing how things just during the day is like, oh, I can see how that's part of the quantum. Me talking with that gentleman, I don't know his name. I'm gonna call him Jim. Jim and I standing at the at the fueling station. Um, $50 for. I haven't figured up how many miles I got for that $50, but the odometer thing says I'm getting 19 gallons. I'm 19 miles per gallon. So I try to drive carefully, even in the Jeep. Got the new battery out. I'm ready to go in the truck, and the truck wants to go to the river badly. But anyway, um, so with all the new stuff that's going on now, and it's already in the quantum, it's already in the goo field. It's already there. It's already in the. Everybody's calling it the consciousness. Well, okay. In the consciousness kind of sounds scary. What do you mean, Dave? Well, my consciousness right now, I'm up and talking to you all, and everything's groovy, and I'm having conversation, um, and my consciousness is awake, but my subconscious is still working. It's writing shit down, you know. Well, I took notes, and he said this at 12:45, and he took a toke at 1:33. So, but my brain is, and y'all's brain is working the same way too now that, and so our collective consciousness of simply being awake, it has already been downloaded and dumped into the grand consciousness, the big consciousness, big giant head in the sky consciousness. Google. Google. Oh no, it's 3 o'clock Central Time. Oh no, it's 3 o'clock Central Time. Ooh. I was not um, ridiculing Central Time. It sounded like I was. No, wait. Come back here. Um, so with the collective consciousness, so I keep seeing it as there's the subconsciousness is down here. For some reason, I'm standing in a warehouse, right? Because consciousness is big, it keeps on going down there, and there are people that are driving up and down in the entire collective consciousness now. Stick with me. It's a brutal trip because it involves going inside the brain. You go and going inside the system and going inside the matrix. But that's where you got to stay thirsty, my friends. Osaki. Stay thirsty, my friends. Now, why would we want to stay thirsty? Because if you're not thirsty for wanting to do something, thirsty, passion, you want to be passionate about something. Okay. So now here's this information from every single person that's awake is contributing to the consciousness, the grand consciousness that is awake. Okay. So I'm sitting here having a bowl, talking about this stuff, going, holy crap. But so in my brain pictures this because I used to work warehouses and tool bins. And so, but I see from about here down, which is about waist high, from there down and below a counter. Okay. It's behind a counter. And that's the subconscious. And the open conscious is from the counter way up in this warehouse. And boy, that the rows are back and forth. People are working them, in the consciousness. And it's like, and so we're awake. We have just, we're awake. We are now in the, some people call it the matrix. We're in the consciousness. We're in the everybody else's consciousness. Now, there are subsets of that consciousness. What the hell do you mean? Well, if you're going to class and you go to school, then while you're in that class and doing that class, hour, 2 hours, whatever that class is, that stretch of time that's that's separate from everybody else's consciousness because it's the consciousness of the classroom that's operating at that point. You're in the classroom and you're you're in the consciousness of the classroom. Soon as you walk in the door, ding, and it's good, bad, and different, doesn't matter. You're in that consciousness. Now it's everything is still attached to the big giant head. Okay? It is. It's still attached to the big consciousness, but you're in a tiny subset at the moment because you're in class or you're in church or you and your family are sitting down and eating dinner or or you're sitting here talking to me, you know. But so each one of those is a subset of the grand consciousness. So we're participating in this, whether we like it or not, right? So when I have these conversations with y'all, it's like, so what's the big deal? The sexy. Stay thirsty, my friends. What the fuck? Well, Dante gave me a special video, and it was kind of sort of heavily that. And I got it. Maybe I got it. I don't know. I've been laughing about it. It makes me grin. So thank you, Dante and group. Cheers. Who helped me out with that. Cheers. I honestly mean it. So, but with the consciousness, and I have listened to Cliff High talk about this, and I don't disagree. You know how he explains it and so forth is that's his model. That's how he explains it. It's not bad, okay, but it's just how he does it. Now I'm not trying to compare myself to him at all. I'm just having conversation. but the consciousness of this. So while we're having this conversation, there are people over in Egypt doing Egypt stuff. There are people in China doing Chinese stuff. There are people in, in Korea doing Korean stuff, Um, and there are people in the islands doing the island stuff. But it still goes into the great big consciousness. Now, that great big consciousness is there. Now, when I go to sleep, the consciousness is still working. And it's still plugged into the rest of it. Now, there are some people who are more in tune than others. Absolutely. That's okay. For the folks who might be watching this, who might say, well, Dave, how do you get in touch with all that kind of stuff? Well, the one good way is to, you know, you got to commune with Mother Nature. You've got to make the connection. I live in Mother Nature. you know, Concrete floors on the ground level. When it rains, water runs in my house. Uh, but when I walk outside, it's immediately my feet are touching dirt. There's no porch. I'm not off the ground. I'm on the ground, and I planned it this way. And so, but most people don't live like this. Most people live off the ground. You know, stop and think about it. Your bed off the ground. Now I've been watching some Japanese and Chinese movies and stuff, and they do not go into um, bedrooms. They got a futon and a cover. When it's time to go to bed, they go in, they pull the futon out, they pull their blankie out, fluff the pillows, and it's there. They get it, wake up in the morning, yeah, they fold the futon up and fold the blankie up, and that's that. When they make the bed, it's folded up against the wall. What? They do not, and in my thinking about this, I'm like, all right, so custom has it that that's the way of things. That's the old way. Grandma's son and grandpa's son, you know, they sleep on a mat, you know, they sleep on a futon, they sleep you know, on the floor. They don't sleep up off the floor. Now in our society, um, some of the beds nowadays, and I've seen some of them, they're 3.5 feet off the ground. You have to have a stool to get in the damn bed. Now, native folks, not just North American, but native folks, where they sleep on a mat on the ground. Now, there are some um, native folks because of indigenous snakes and wild animals and stuff like that. They have to sleep off the ground because they get bit, eat, whatever in the middle of the night. Now, a snake can still crawl up and bite you, but there's something about not being on the ground where there are snakes around. So, but anyway, close second. Stay thirsty, my friend. So, but sleeping arrangements. So, those folks who sleep on the floor on a mat, okay, and how that arrangement goes. Now, you're sleeping on the floor. Okay. Well, eh, okay. Wait. Hang on a minute. When you go into the house, I'm watching the Chinese, Japanese houses in the movies that I watch. They are off the ground. There was one movie. There was a temple way out, and um, it was like the Temple of Hardships, and it was on the side of a mountain, and everybody forgot about it. They were like, we don't want to go to that place. Oh hell no, you know. The spirits that live there, they're all like, blah, 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 blah. They're all raggly and scagly, and they're ginger tore and like, okay, really? Yeah, their jeans are tore, and we don't like them in our neighborhood. Okay. But some of the temples, the old temples, the ancient temples, that it the whole temple was built up, but it was the ground level was it. They brought the dirt in, so they were quote off the ground. They were raised ground. That's what I'm trying to get at. So, but they were still touching dirt. So throw out their thing and sleep right there, huh? Well, I'm kind of here in the living room, and it's just it's hard for me to get down on the floor. And Duggar's got a big old spot over there on the floor, and but the couch I've turned into a bed, and Duggar's wearing it out right now, um, calmly. Um, but I've been thinking more and more about 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 the mat on the floor thing, and like, if you want a bed, and I would love to have a bedroom downstairs. I still haven't finished the sunroom. Um, my friend is going to be operated on at 10 o'clock this morning. He's the one that came and got my cement mixer. Uh, you know, not that I'm really worried about that, but he does have my cement mixer in Florida. I love him. Um, but in order to finish the sunroom, I got to have a cement mixer. And if he don't bring it back, I'm gonna have to go get it. You know. Well, there's $50 worth of gas to go down and get it. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, they cut my check by $200 this month. That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. I'm already poor, so they took they they're making me pay for my insurance. Is what it is. Because the papers that I signed and filled out online with the lady on the other line on talking on the line, filled it out, did the thing, got a notice in the mail that it thumbs up, and they took $200 out of my check again. Now, that is the way of most Americans. So they pushed me back to 1490 something a month. Them cruel bastards. You know, I filled out the papers. Aren't you going to pay that for me again? I'm still poor. I filled out the papers. A lot of Mexicans left the state of Georgia, freed up a bunch of money. It's only $178 a month. You know, it really helps me out. Fudge. Okay. Onward and upward. So stay thirsty, my friend. Then you say, Dave, Hawkeye, why do you keep repeating that? Well, because that was the message that Dante left me. One of them. And so you say, but so what? What's the message, babe? Well, calm down, you know, get the kink out of your butt. Puff, puff, pass. Oh, and it's time anyway, so come on, it's time. It's the 20. Ooh, that was a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, as chairman of this committee of the League of Like-Minded Beings, I hereby call this meeting to order. What are you doing, Nate? Here's the thing. Whoever is here or left, I hope Travis went back to sleep and get into his dreams. But no, kidding. For the folks that have showed up here and to participate simply by, listening to my dumbass, that you're participating in the quantum because that's what I want to do. I want to participate with the quantum. I want to participate in my quantum where my knowledge is stored. I hope it's stored back there, because sometimes I need it. But so I'm still looking at this consciousness thing as a big warehouse, okay? Stick with me on that one. So, but down this row, and you go down a ways, and then you'll find a column, and then you'll turn left, and you go down a long ways, and then you'll find that section you've been looking for. Sweet. So, but once you get used to what's going on with the quantum, now you say, Dave, you're talking about the quantum. Yes. Dave. Okay. What's up? Ain't that the same as the The Matrix. Well, let me tell you, it is the Matrix. The consciousness is the Matrix. Okay. But here's the thing. For me, I'm not, I don't want to necessarily change anything. What I'm here in this life world is because that's what they've been telling me for a bunch for 60 years. I've been hearing about this, and I'm not being ugly about it. But thank God it's here. That my job would be and is going to be to tell the truth about how things were during the 60s and 70s and 80s, and to not blur the truth. Because I just tell it like it is kind of person. And for those people who didn't grow up in that age and are in their 20s or 30s now, they were born after 2000. They ain't got a clue what it was like back in my day. They don't, I mean, I remember in the 50s, oh my God, everything was in black and white. I mean, even in life, things were black and white. It was beautiful but dreary. In the Matrix. But in the 50s, mom's staying at the house, she's pregnant with a baby, and they dropped my happy ass into their living room and said, Arno, no, you just adopted David Wayne. No, it says right here, sign the paper. I got it right up there. Signed the paper, and I'm out on the sidewalk, riding a bicycle. I had figured out how to get inside. I couldn't sit, I couldn't pedal on a boy's bike because of the bar. I could get up there and scrunch my nuts, and I'd scream like blood, and then I'd get off and go, no, 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 there's got to be a better way. So if I could get a girl's bike, I could, but this was in Troy, Ohio. And, I'm 5 years old, 4 years old. I remember it. It was great. But that was then. And it was absolutely a more simpler time. That time unit, the structure of that time unit, the structure of that consciousness at that time. Folks standing out in the neighborhood trying to watch to see Sputnik go by, the first satellite. They're like, well, it's coming. We just stand out here. Look, there it goes, Margaret. Well, I'll be down. And everybody had the radios tuned to a particular channel, and that you could hear it go beep, 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 beep. That's both my dad and brother's middle name as well. What, Wayne? Oh, you ain't talking to me. Me too. Been quite a while since. Yeah, well, my dear friends, um, you know, my brother, passed away and had to go to Florida to take care of some business, and it interrupted my brain. It kerfuffle, you know? And, but in the kerfuffle, there's always some lessons, you know. Well, did you know about this before? No. Well, you do now. Thank you very much. Um, kind of was forced into some of the thoughts. You got to deal. You have to adapt. A lady asked me about 2 weeks ago. She was, "Oh, everything's flustering. How do you deal?" And you know, what do you do? You had all my plans laid out. I'm like, yeah, I understand. I had all my plans laid out too, but I had them crushed yesterday. Oh, Wayne, thank you, Chloe. I hate my middle. That's why I go by DW. Darkwing Duck. Let's get dangerous. Darkwing Duck. Go Sefri Techie. Darkwing Duck. Let's get dangerous. Go Seki. Anyway, so I just don't like using the word matrix. When they did the movies, The Matrix, and I think I've watched all three of them. There are some folks who are like, yeah, well, you know, when he does this thing with this guy, and when it's such and such and such, and they go over here, and I'm like, son of a gun, I'm gonna have to watch it again. Oh, damn it. Because apparently I don't see the same things, or I'm watching a movie and they're like, well, you see the connection with this? And I do, you know, but I think the Matrix, with all the moving stuff, messes with my brain. And so I see the moving parts. Um, I do. I see the moving parts, but that's just it. I see the moving parts. But if I try to reach my hand in to help, move, guide, whatever, it it just gets wanky. And so it's like, well, so in other words, it's like you got a program running and you see it running, and you know, and it's 5 minutes in the program, and you're watching it, and you have, you know, done special effects and all these things in a 7 minute you know, thing, and it's running on a computer. Everything's groovy. You're 5 minutes into it, and folks are like, "Yeah, this is cool," and you think to yourself, I'm over here on the computer. I want to tweak it a little bit, and so that I got a different ending I want to do. So you get in there and you start screwing with stuff, and next thing you know, you have screwed it up because you try to get something in there and you wanted to help it out, and you thought you were doing the right thing. That's all true. That's all true, my friends. That is all absolutely true. But that's also what messes up the Matrix. Oh, crap. I used that word. Yeah, I did. I used the word Matrix. But but at that time, see, you're working with the consciousness. We're still there with the consciousness. Oh, yeah, I took it way back. Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to start taking it early because I had to go to the doctor the other day, and I wasn't going to get back until 2 something, and it was later. Um, and I didn't want to get home and then take my meds late because that never goes well. Well, my chest hurts, right? So no, take your metropol. You take your renolazine. Take that one over there. You got to. Otherwise, my chest goes nuts. It hurts. Um, but I can close my eyes and calm it down. I'll take my blood pressure. I can watch how I might be 68 on pulse rate, and the nurse will be watching it. And she did it the other day. She said, "You just brought your pulse rate down, didn't you?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Well, that's cool." She goes, "I've heard of people doing that." And I said, "Well, I learned, I've been, doing it since I was 17 years old." And, people, "Oh, you really can't do that." Well, you just measured it. You measured it and said, "Oh, you were good." And then she said, "You're calming yourself," because I was talking about it, and the doctor always said to take a deep breath and slow your heart rate, and I went to the university one a couple of times actually, and listened to a guy, and he was a yogi, from India, and he was over here, and he was showing, and he was playing the sitar, and it was like, so you can just think about it, think about your heart rate. Listen up. You can think about your heart rate. I've seen the inside of my heart twice, and that helps, But I know where it lives, my heart. It's not somebody else's, someplace else that I'm trying to, that I might want to help somebody with or look at. It ain't that. It's mine. That's right here. So I can think about my heart rate, feel the heart pumping, take a deep breath and regulate my breathing, which regulates my heart rate. And so she took the, one of the clip on things on my finger, and she was like, "Cool beans," So anyway, so that was proof the other day. I know it's happening because I use my portable cuff machine, and it gives my pulse rate at the bottom. And so I always bring it down. If if it ain't but just a couple of points. Why am I bringing this up? Because you should be thirsty, my friend. You should be thirsty for knowledge. The gentleman I met while pumping gas, I gave him one of the best. I'm bragging now, okay? Lord have mercy. I gave that man one of the best, Lord, he's going to be praising my name the next time he eats a steak. Oh, yes, Lord. I told him the secret to gumming steaks when you don't got no teeth. How do you gum a steak? Mhm. That's about it, my friends. It's like a washing machine. You be over there in the corner going, what the hell's Dave doing? He's eating steak. That dumbass is over there eating steak. He ain't got no teeth. How's he eating steak? Watch him. You know. How is it? Delicious. You eating steak, Dave? Mm-hmm. So the trick that I taught him, my age-old wisdom of a Southern, I'm true Southern now, you know, and I'll be 73, Lord have mercy. I told him the secret, gave him the secret, Lord. Cut the steak real thin. What? You should have seen his face. What? And I thought he was going to fluff me off. What? Okay. And his eyes lit up. And I could tell, you know, a steak man, a manly man who likes a steak. And yeah, it's hard to eat a steak, but if you slice it thin, and if you know the cut, and which way you cut it on the grain or with the grain, and you have to taste it first and look at the meat before you go cutting on it. But just saying, the bottom line is to cut it thin for people with no teeth, you know. So he was like, right on, dude, you know. It was like, yeah, man, get in the car and off he went. So, you know, I I try to strive. My endeavor is to meet people and pass along things. And I didn't know that I was going to meet a man without teeth like me, in similar condition. He ripped his shirt up and showed me his heart monitor, you know. And I'm like, he's same hospital. He's going over to have it done. Okay. So, but anyway, when I'm at the house and I got to go to town, I don't know that I'm going to have a conversation and give out my secret to how to cut steak. You know, not that it's a big secret, but for people like us, he was so astounded with that information. It was like, why didn't I think of that? Yeah, you know, it was great. I know I'm pondering on it, but he was such a character. And that 10 minutes, Richard's in the house. Oh, dude, what's happening, man? Is Travis still awake? God bless you, buddy. So, but anyway, I did not plan on going to town and while I was getting gas to meet someone to have this short in, verbal intercourse, and you know, and then I drove on home. You know, he drove wherever. But to that fact, it's like, uh, I just gave a toothless man. You got to be toothless to understand, and not that I want you to be, okay? But you know, as a toothless human being, um, and he's like, I don't know whether to put on my um, false teeth or not, you know. But anyway, so I didn't plan on meeting the lady in the Dollar General store and the chat we had. I didn't plan, well, I had to go to the hospital, but I didn't plan on speaking to the one radiology person and having the conversation that we did. It was short, sweet, very positive. Um, and for some reason, with this beard, they seem to think I'm some kind of wise old man. I mean, the one old lady stopped me in the parking lot, okay? And with my short term memory, I can't remember what the fuck before. I don't know. But I remember that she stopped me and she was asked me a question and something, 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 something. And I know she asked me if I needed help, and I was like, "No, ma'am, I just gotta, I just gotta walk slow." And it was fucking 92 degrees. It was a comfortable 92 degrees, but I had to walk all the way over there to the Jeep. And I parked in such a way, and I tested him out today. So there were a bunch of vehicles in there when I went in at 2:30 to get the test done, and but it was an hour later at 3:30. Well, 3:30 shift change. So in the parking lot before shift change, there are the folks who come in for shift, and it doubles up the parking lot. So then first shift leaves the parking lot and it opens up. But the in that shift change area, the parking lot is full. Anyway, let's see. Stay thirsty, my friends. That little tidbit of information most people don't think about. So they'll be driving around in the parking lot trying to get a parking place up near in the front. You ain't gonna find one. Why? Because you're in that moldy, weird shift change time of the day. And so if people are not aware of it, then I can't find a place. Oh, the parking lot's always full. No, dumbass, you always come at the same time. You always come at shift change, dumbass. Wait till it's over and there'll be parking places all over the place. And that's what happens. So, but anyway, so in mine, I was like, oh, it's shift change. I'm not even going to try for parking place you know, up there. I'm just going to have to walk. So I was a couple of rows further back than I could have been, but I parked in such a way that Duggar could see up towards the hospital. So on my way out, I come out and I'm standing there on the curb there, getting my back straight, and I look and I go, "Is that my Jeep out there?" And I'm looking and I'm like, "Can I see Duggar from here?" Wait, Duggar, whoa. So I'm looking. I got my cane, so I'm hobbling off to the parking lot, right from the entrance of the hospital, and I leave the shade to the open sunlight. And I'm taking a step, taking a step, taking a step. Duggar? Duggar? Can you hear me? I'm a good 250, 300 feet away from him. I'm a good ways. He's out in the parking lot. But I always tell him, love you too, Chloe. So I always tell Duggar, I'm going that way. I always point to him and tell him, I'm going that way and I'm going in the building. I'll be back as soon as I can. And if I pull in the front of the building, I go, I'm going in there. I'll be back. Always, always. I've never missed him because I want him to know, he's a little dumb, but he does pay attention. He just doesn't care. But he knows where I am because I told him. And but this is a long distance one now. So I'm talking like this. Duggar, Duggar, can you hear me? Duggar, is that you? Now listen to this because it's part of this entire thing. You know, stay thirsty, my friends. Drink healthy of life. No say. Duggar, can you hear me? And then I whispered, and I'm walking across the parking lot, and I slowed down a little bit. Now I got a straight eyeball on the Jeep, and this pointed straight at me. And so experiments have shown that dogs can anticipate their owners 15 minutes before they come home. The dog gets ready and go does the thing. The dog goes over and sits by the door, and 10 minutes before the owner gets there. But the rest of the day doing the thing, but 10 minutes before the dog's over by the door or whatever. And it's true. So now with Duggar, we're always together, except when I have to go in the building. So now, as far away as I am, I see his head pop up between the seats. He's in the back seat, which is fine. I got a bedding in there for him, and I see his head, his white face pop up between the two black seats, and I go, Duggar, can you hear me? I'm talking like I'm talking to you. He's way to fudge out there in the parking lot, and you know, and he moves to the front seat. Now, if he didn't hear me, if he didn't hear me, feel me, or whatever, he wouldn't have he wouldn't have come up out of the back seat the way he did. I mean, it was like boing, you know. And I was like, "Did you hear?" I said to him from out in the distance, "Did you hear me?" you know. And so I was like, "Whoa, that was weird," So I'm sending him a message psychically, Duggar, you know, can you hear me? Duggar, can you hear me? Doing. There's no way he heard me. There's no way he heard my maybe he heard my voice, but he heard my voice two ways. He heard my voice this way too. With the mental. He heard that because I was sending it out to him, man. Where are you, Duggar? Are you in the front seat? Are you in the back? Going can you hear me? I'm watching a movie right now. It's Twist of Sand from the 60s. He absolutely is a bird dog. Yep. But so, but to the point of, I'm a shaman in training, right? So I'm still learning about the the power of the mind, not in a controlling faction like some people might want to do, or think, oh, you're a shaman. You got to learn how to control people's minds. Oh, shut up. See, there you go, trying to control me. Just shut up. Dumbass. Um, but no, it's to stay thirsty for excitement, for knowledge, for fun. You know, a movie about World War II in Africa and China. Oh, the Chinese were brutal. Oh, so were the Japanese, and they're brutal. Smoking a cigarette, and I got a patch on my arm. Oh well. Um, so I'm in the warehouse. Conscious is up here. Subconscious is down here. All right. All the sleeping people down here. Well, but there's a lot of lights flashing on that subconscious, and you think, well, what's going on with that? Oh, that's honestly, that's people dreaming, and as they dream, they contribute to the consciousness because in their dreaming, they are reliving, they are, going through file cabinets in their own brain kind of thing. And it's contributing the storyline to the consciousness, the subconscious. But the subconscious is, attached right up there to the conscious. Look over there, you can see it's attached right there. It's a great big giant cord attached to the subconscious. Well, Dave, how do you know about that? Well, because if the teacher asks you a question in class and you're standing there like a dumbass going, what is 2 plus 2? And what is that equal sign? I ain't feeling it, you know. Is that a secret? 2 plus 2? Well, in this subset group of consciousness, there are a group of dumbasses. And you can call it, they're in the matrix of things. And because they're dumbasses, they are in their own little matrix, if you will. The kind of stuff that they dream up, right? And the things they might want to do. And the other one goes, hey, Charlie, that's a good idea. Yeah, we're going to do it like that. And then what, right? Get you in trouble. Been there, done that, did it. Oh, Lord have mercy, you pay for it. But you think it's a good idea. And you think because you're a group of people. Now I'm thinking, I'm reliving a 13-year-old in Tampa, Florida. Okay. Just so you know where I'm at. I don't really want to get into trouble, but I want to be cool. And what can I do to be cool that, well, there's an old house down there on the corner. Nobody's living in it. Ain't lived in it in a while. So why don't we sneak into the old house? Then we can tell everybody that we've been in the house on the corner. Okay. All right. That sounds simple. That all the windows are broke out, doors hanging off the hinge, and We can walk right in, you know. All we got to do is look around and make sure we don't want the neighbors to see us go in, you know, because somebody will come out going, "Get out of there, you got dog kids trying to break more windows, you know." So, in the matrix of things, to me, to me, I try to box things up. You know, everything looks like a postal box. You know, no, but I mean the subconscious. It could be all lit up with all kinds of lacy stuff, and you can see them. You know, and there's conscious everywhere. And somebody asks a damn question, and they ask the main desk. Okay, so whoever you are, you're like, who painted the Mona Lisa? Hey, who painted the Mona Lisa? I don't know. Let me ask. And the thought goes off. That tiny little spark of light goes off. Who painted the Mona Lisa? Do, 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 do. It's a Jeopardy game. So, but it's in truthfulness for every one of our brains. That's what's happening. We're triggering who did, let's see, who. And so in the Matrix, it's going out there looking for who painted Mona Lisa. It was Charlie McCarthy, right? Um, Whistler's mother, Whistler's father, Whistler. I don't know. Uh, was it Ludwig van Beethoven? Oh, he wrote stuff, didn't he? He was. Oh, he was the music man. Oh man, shit. So, um, but when it comes time for any question to be asked, and people don't realize it, you know, they go, "Well, I'm going to ask ChatGPT." Okay, do you know what ChatGPT is? You know, it's a stack of memory boards uh, on top of stacks of memory boards, on top of stacks of memory boards. This son of a gun is big. On top of, seriously, they're digging holes. They're putting in all this power supply. You've heard AT is hungry for power. Do you really need something like that? Everybody's got to have it. Okay, I'm going to stand back and be the observer. And if you're confused about it, simply be the observer about this. Oh, but AI is going to take over the world. It's going to make a bunch of people feel stupid first. There's a bunch of stupid people. It's going to weed out. Oh, God Almighty. Why are you laughing, Dave? Well, Hawkeye's laughing because a lot of machines are numerically controlled, right? They have you type in a program to the machine, and the machine does what you program it to do. It don't know how to do it on its own. You got to put the program in, and then you got to hit start, right? You got to turn it up. The machine, you got to flip it on in the back and plug it in. and make sure the machine's got all of the material that it needs to do its job. Okay, you feed the machine. Somebody puts more stuff in the machine so it can still work. Well, that's great. It really, really, honestly is. That's where we need to go if we're going to continue in this society. And you go, well, Dave, why? Because economic works when people are working. People feel good when they put in a decent day's work. Now you say, well, oh, Trump's nothing but a billionaire, and he's on him and his billionaire friends, and they're setting all this stuff up with all the billionaire stuff. And the Democrats were doing it. They just did a lousy flipping job. Both parties are doing the same thing. The Federal Reserve, Trump and gang are actually would like to get rid of the Fed. Yeah, it was created by a bunch of dumbasses back in the turn of the last century, not this one, but the last one. And it's been a dumbass organization ever since. So, time to get, time to do things differently. And if you look at the world, things are going differently. Them two grandmas that the Prometheus report, I think it is, and they talk about how, the other day Trump did a something, and 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 it ended up back in the UK, exactly where these two elderly ladies were talking about, have been talking about, that Trump has been trying to take down the oligarch king money that goes back centuries from when we were the, colonists of the British Isles. And you see, there are some documents hid in a chest somewhere, and that says that England still owes our ass such. And ladies are saying, and Trump's been going over there going, give me back on my assets. And King Charles been like, well, and King Charles back down and ponied up. Um, so there's stuff going on in the background. And if you listen to the Prometheus group, then I'm just going to say it. I don't mean harm in it. I'm an old man, and those are two old ladies, but they know their stuff. So what's going on? Well, I don't like Trump. He's just a narcissist. Yeah, but see them two old ladies over there? Uh-huh. Well, they have been doing stuff for 50 years. And they know that Trump, I know you don't like him, but he's throwing time bombs in on these people. He is demolishing these people and going to put the American dollar back on its own. That America does its own banking, not the Federal Reserve. America won't have to answer to them. Them. Well, why are you saying that, Dave? We've been doing that for the last 100 years. Yeah, and it was a bunch of, pay attention, it was a bunch of rich congressmen and rich people who said, well, this is the best thing for America. And they went along. It ain't the best thing for America. America needs to take care of their own bank accounts. They need to um, establish their own Bitcoin. And you go, Dave, wait a minute. Well, the Bitcoin for America? Listen up. The Within the boundaries of the United States of America. Now, I'm excluding Alaska at the moment, but Alaska's still attached to the land on this side. So, and it's a big place. You can put Texas in it and have room. So, for all you Texans out there, there's one bigger, you know. There always is. There's always one bigger. But so, what about the Bitcoin? So, from what I understand, you can sell Bitcoin on futures, mining futures, for example. They've just found this great big, humongous mine with all of this iron ore for, I can't remember which one, but it's like, oh man, yes, it's going to tear a great big hole in the earth. Well, okay, no. But it's there. We got to go get it. It's like Spock and Captain Kirk, and they're on another planet, and they got to have something to go back in the spaceship, or it's going to be acquaintance for them, and whoever's inhabiting that planet are going, no, we worship it. See, we work anyway. I'll give away the plot. Um, so what in this plot? Who wins? What do you mean, Dave? Well, there's a product that needs to get, that people want to buy, and we've got all the molds and everything. All we need to do is just start making them. We can sell them like that, man. And sell them ain't nothing. Yeah, but they have been known to cause cancer. Oh, come on. In only a few cases, only a few 100,000, you know, it's up to 450,000 now, dumbass. Well, we can sell a few more of them. It don't matter. No, that kind of stuff must stop, is stopping. Doseke. For our brains, we need to, because a lot of people have given us a lot of misinformation over the last few, I don't mind, a bunch of years actually, because nobody would stop them. I mean, the stuff that, what's his name, Tyson, black guy, that's physicist guy. He's kind of borderline lied, right out lied, to try to, talking about off gassing comets and, just doing something. He's got, he's learned science, he's learned how to speak science, but he really don't know what the fudge is going on. Pay attention, like what's going on with the weather. You say, "Ooh, look at the weather is nice and such," and then for eyes like mine, I see on the radar darts of energy shoot across the United States, shooting across, Shoot, there goes another one. There goes another one. And then the radar resets and it's going along, shoots across, shoots across, shoots across. And the next thing you know, there's a storm south where this thing was pointing. A big bad storm. Now those of us who've been watching this stuff, we're just stupid, right? Are we really that? Are we that guy today that told RFK Jr., are you really that stupid? And then that, oh boy, I was going to say something nasty. Thank you for keeping my mouth shut. That black son bitch from Georgia, I just said it, didn't I? Our senator from Georgia. What a maroon. What a maroon. What a maroon. I am. What? And you're representing Georgia? And you're saying that Robert Kennedy is a moron and should give up, should quit because his idea of a vaccination is going to kill hundreds of thousands of children. Oh, please, mister. There has been an outbreak of measles here in the Atlanta area. Or 3 children got the measles out of 20. Couple over here, couple over here. 20 people got measles. And 3 got seriously ill, unfortunately. An outbreak. I live in the state of Georgia. They called it an outbreak. And I, no, it ain't. 3 people got the measles. 3 people, not 23 or 33 or 103. 3 people got. It's an outbreak. So, all of the times that are going on now, people are all puffed up with themselves, puff themselves up to look big and important. And I'm sitting here in my chair, with my beard. And look how long my hair is getting, you know. Um, Somehow I have become a wizened old man. Okay. If I can point out, open the door before you go through the opening, if that's going to save, okay. Um, okay. So, I've been going to cut the beard off, but it's literally attracted people from across the parking lot. Come over to speak to me. That was that lady who we exchanged phone numbers with the other day. And nice later, her husband was in. We should get together, play some music, do it. Great, right? And lives out this way. Her great, 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 great grandfather owned this place. He was one of the first pioneers of Colquitt County. And and Allagood, and she isn't Allagood. She was like, "What?" And I go, "Yeah, I bought part of your grandpa's farm. It was through another person, but so you never know who you're going to meet." At 73, been on the property 42 years and counting, and I run across the great great granddaughter of the man who first put stakes out in 18 something, 17 late, you know, that put a farm on this place. And it was my beard that brought her over. And we started talking about Rocky and Bullwinkle of all things. And then when I got home, there was a special about Rocky and Bullwinkle. And I'm like, it was way ahead of its time. I was watching Rocky and Bullwinkle going, "What's the matter, you? You gotta take care of yourself. Hey, what's the matter, you?" You know, what is what's the matter, you? Are you paying attention to the cartoon? Are you paying attention to what those guys are talking about? Listen. But it's Bullwinkle, nothing up my sleeve. And during the whole thing of Bullwinkle, nothing up my sleeve. They're telling you things in plain sight. Watch the government, nothing up in my sleeve. Hey, and it goes and Bullwinkle reaches in there and pulls out a lion. Must have got the wrong hat. Boom. And the lion goes back down. Do you get it? In life, there are choices you have to make, and life goes on. Bullwinkle's there doing his magic act, but the magic act is representing life. Pay attention. Oh, it's just a black and white cartoon. Oh, nothing about it. Kids, go watch Bullwinkle. Okay, all right. I will. I'm there. Why? Because their satire was funny as hell. It was like watching Bullwinkle was like watching. It was like reading mad comic books at the time. The guys back in the day who wrote Mad Comic Book and some of the stuff they did. Oh my god, damn dudes was good. I bought their product. Yes, I did. So I am a I am a I am a long hair in a loop. Uh, I can't breathe. My heart does a double clutch. Something. And I can tell by the way it feels that my brain thinks I'm not getting enough oxygen. And I'm sitting here breathing. I know I'm breathing, mechanically speaking. I just had breathing tests today, and I think that's why I feel out of sorts. She gave me some prednisone in a spray thing, and I'm in the machine and I'm doing the test, and I pulled my mouth off of the thing and I said, "Am I supposed to be feeling dizzy?" She goes, "Yep." And I went, "Okay, just checking." Went put my mouth back on the device. Um, but I think I'm having residuals. So anyway, I watched this documentary, and I gotta say the narrator was fair, and he was like, and Rocky and Bullwinkle, the writers who he didn't really give credit to. Rocky and Bullwinkle were ahead of their time, and Rocky and Bullwinkle will always have a place in history, and Rocky and Bullwinkle will ever, hey Rocky, what? Time to pull a rabbit out of the hat. Roar. I just got to get another hat. So poor Bullwinkle is trying to do the right thing. He's trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat. Now he has seen the rabbit come out of the hat over there. And I did a puppet show myself with a rabbit that popped his head up out of my top hat when I was not looking. And the audience was like, it was live in an auditorium. I'd turn around and the rabbit would duck down. I'd look back at the audience. The rabbit would come back up. Uh, I swear they thought I trained the rabbit to do it. It was just on. Um, no, it was live and in color. So I turned back to the audience, and the rabbit would come up. I'd turn back around and pop back down. It was the damnedest thing. And I played that back audience, back audience for about 5 minutes. And everybody was like, "Come on, get along with your stuff," but I couldn't help it. I was getting so many laughs, and people were having so much fun, and it was like, yeah, I got to get on with it. But while I was doing it, I was trying to figure out how am I going to get my ass out of this situation. I'm going to say, and now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pull a rabbit out of my hat. Everybody started busting out laughing because they've been watching the rabbit poking his head up for the last 5 minutes because I've been milking it, right? And so, yeah, the rabbit. So now, in the quantum flux matrix of things, I just see shelves with boxes. This is the memory. This is where all of it's stored. It's the consciousness. Well, who runs it? Who's in charge? Well, now there have been some strong willed people who kind of sort of, with their actions and behavior, have like taken slaves of people. You know, they have incarcerated them, beat them, killed them, just, you know, okay. Um, but that is a part of the consciousness, but it's just in another subset in the mainframe. in the big room where all the stuff is stored. It's in a box in here, you know. It is properly marked. Okay. Now there will be folks that say that this place where all the memories are kept is it's sloppily cared for. Sloppily cared for. Not good. And Dave, how do you know this? Well, it's not. Who runs it? It runs itself. Because for every baby born, male or female, for every baby born, their spirit and who they are is getting molded, and they're learning how to play with stuff in the crib, and they're learning. Maybe they can read the clock that's over there on the wall. That I'm hungry, and the clock's straight up and down. I don't know what time it is, but I'm hungry, and so you start banging and rattling, and they bring you food at 6 o'clock. Ooh, I hit it right on the nose, you know. So, learned behavior as things go along, but there are some times when, like in building my house here, years ago, I had a 4x4 post that was right in the middle of the floor, and it held the loft up right over there. And so it's like, but the loft, yeah, I know the loft. It's what are you going to do with this 4x4? Well, it got in the way a couple of times moving furniture and stuff, but that basically it was really cool to sit on the couch and put your feet on the post. It was really convenient. So, but I don't know. I'm like, I know that that post can't stay there forever. And I got my feet on it, you know. I know this post can't stay here forever. I know I'm going to have to cut it out, but I'm going to have to redo the loft so it don't fall down. Where am I headed with this? I had to put up temporary boards so that I could add boards right here, add boards to the south side of the house, put in some big lag bolts, put some more down over yonder, do the same thing, um, bolster it up to where it's tied into the ceiling, and make sure that everything. So I did all that before I took out the temporary post. And then I had put my foot on that post for so many years, and then I took it out. There's no post there now. It's open, it's clean. Well, there's dog hair on the floor, but you know, but I mean, it's open. There's nothing to obstruct your vision or anything. But you had to have that post in there temporarily, and I had to put up with the post while it was in that spot. It was a sweet spot, but it had to go. So, but I had to get all the other work done first. Took me a couple of years to finally get it done, but I finally got it done, and there's no post there now. And I'm so glad that there's no post there now. And like, it, it would, I feel in my heart that it wouldn't have hurt if the post had to stay. But Dave, you just said you had. I know what I said, but what I mean is that I would have adapted. If the post was here, would have worked around. Literally, would have worked around it, because a lot of times it was in the way. Now it's just clear sailing right through. So what about some of this other stuff that's going on? Like with Trump and with this, with that, with that. Sometimes you need to put up a 4x4 to hold something up for a while. Like hold up the second floor while you're bracing it up and doing it up and putting in the doors underneath, and you got into this and this and that, and it might be that board might be in the way for people for years. And then when the building's coming close, when it's time, a couple of guys get together and kick it out and take that big old brace out. And then the building goes, but no, but if you want a big open space, then you got to tie things off to the wall, off to the ceiling, so that there's nothing going all the way to the floor. And sometimes it's a real pain, and it requires a lot of thinking, and it requires, like, some of these folks had a 25-foot open in their house. 25 foot by 25 feet. Playroom, living room. Okay. 25 feet by 25 feet. That's bigger than some people's houses. Our house was only 25 feet wide. And their playroom, half of it was 25 by 25. Half of it. Holy crap. So the beams that went in that room that had to be 65 feet long and like this high, this wide, if you looked at it, but this high, it looked like a tree they put in there. And then they were worried it would fall in. Put a post in the damn thing, and you could walk around it. But anyway, so sometimes in big beautiful things, sometimes you got to put a brace in. Sometimes you got to put a 2x4 in to hold up what you're working on until you get finished. There's a lot of that going on now in a financial building of stuff. So why am I saying this? Because having dealt with business and stuff and transactions, and I'm watching the machinations of what's going on with our money in the government. And so somebody got in touch with me and said, they was all mad. Oh, damn it, they said they was going to get rid of the IRS. Come on, man. They said, I can't believe they're going to take representatives of the IRS over to this jail, and they got IRS people working on this bus that's going down, and they got IRS people that is tied into this thing with all them guns and stuff and all that fentanyl thing. Well, what the hell? Oh yeah, big time issues, right? And so I think Pam Bondi is doing the best she can. I honestly do. And we need to get off her back. Yes, she messed up about saying stuff about the Epstein files. Should have never said it. Never mind. She'll always go down in history for screwing that one up. Is there anything else in the shadows? He was a sleazeball. Can we leave that part of I mean, here's all this information. Guess what? We all agree he was a sleazeball. Now, as Trump has said, I'm not trying to shorten this down at all, but or stand up, but I'm tired of hearing it too. I mean, let's get on with the economics. Let's get on with the debate about cannabis being um, rescheduled. Come on. We've been wanting to have this conversation for 50 fucking years. Come on. Let's get to, and no, gotta have another hearing on this. Gotta have another hearing on this over here. Listen, would you? The guy's the guy's dead. That's what that's what a rude redneck would say. But the guy's dead. What the hell? Let's talk about just growing weed. Fair game. Fair, you know. Let's not forget it, but let's change the subject to something that's alive. And what is alive? Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friend. Because for everything that you see, you go, well, I don't know why that's going like that. Well, if you stay thirsty for the knowledge and you dig in just a little bit, and then you find out that we, me, other folks too, have been fighting for this referendum for 20 years. And certain people have not brought the resolution. They already got it, it's ready to go. All they got to do is present it to the House. Oh, wait, the House has got their own version, and and so does the Senate. So the Senate's got a little package, talks about the cannabis and this and that, and rescheduling, and it's over here in the Senate. All they got to do is bring it up to vote, and they won't do it. All they got to do is now. Why doesn't Trump get behind it? Because he doesn't do any kind of drug. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. He so he doesn't see the necessity of it. I'm glad it helps other people, and um, I'm glad it calms down, children and blah blah blah. I'm glad it helps with this and blah, and and all of that is really good, and he's cool with that. But that's it. He won't say another word. And I've watched him for the last year and a half, and when it comes to that, he cuts himself off every time. He cuts himself off. If he gets on that subject, you don't hear him go off on another tangent. He shuts up. Next question, you know. So, so being close in the matrix, if you will, being close mentally, we're hooked into it all the time. It's that there are times when we don't need this great big warehouse of stuff. We just need somebody to do a little checking in the front office. And so that's where it is now, in my humble opinion. But the consciousness is changing with every set of consciousness. there are people who die and their consciousness gets so. I can't remember what I was relating this to. If you've got an illness, and I was thinking about this, it was like it was in a dream when I was watching it. So here goes. It was outside under a shelter, and they had mostly guys laid out on the ground, and they're kind of wiggling and jiggling and doing this number here, and I'm like, what the hell am I? What am I looking at? You know? And I stood there as a coach. I'm there for the observation. What the fudge is all this stuff? So the local coach, who was a geologist, top of his class, found out that there was an underground river running across diagonally across the property of the school. And he knew that this underground stream, there's an underground stream here, not too far from here. There are underground streams a lot under the surface of Mother Earth. Um, and so he started using it as a ley line. So he would do simple exercises, if you will, but he always did certain things on the ley line only. So then his football team started winning, and I mean everybody on the team was even the water boy was good, you know. And come to find out, it was the energy that was coming up from the crystalline structures in the ground down underneath, which was charging the hell out of that water, and whatever the other iridium or something that was helping to charge everything from the side, if you will. It had some leaching. It would get into the water, and so that football game they played. Woo wee! So now there are folks who's like, well, they should um, they should turn themselves in. What? Yeah, they should turn themselves in because they were bad people. What? Because they were using extrasensory spiritual things. Really? Kid raised his hand. I did it because it felt good. Put your arm down, John. I did. I went out and laid down in the grass because it felt good. My back hurt, and I went out there and laid down. In 5 minutes, I felt good. Put your hand down. This isn't the Inquisition. Oh, yes, it is. So, um, my dear friend had to go through things like what Robert F. Kennedy had to go through today. the people who asked him questions, the people who stated things. And he looked at the one and he said, "You're making things up. That's a lie. I never said that. You're making things up. That's a lie." And she kept on. "Hey, David, letting the hair grow. What? We will start calling you Gandalf." Yes, actually, I was gonna, I was like gonna be Gretchenfeld or something. Gretchfeld, the long haired or something. But yeah, um, and I have had that existential fight with myself. Almost cut my hair. Happened just the other day. It increases my paranoia. It's like looking in the mirror and seeing the police car. But I didn't, and I wonder why. Decided to keep my free flag fly. Yep, almost cut my hair. What? Oh, don't cut the hair. No, no. And today, now for those of you who are around, who were, I got to get something to drink. For those of you who were around the other day when I said I felt like I got hit, there was some kind of energy that snuck into me, and that I felt like I had been I had been changed somehow. Remember I talked about that? Uh, um, how the people came up and talked to me while I was at the hospital today was a little weird. And when I was at the hospital last week, when that um, lady that her last name, was her great grandfather, first bought the property. And after all the years, I bought it through, and anyway, so meeting people and having these chats from like seemingly out of nowhere, like, well, that was interesting and not bad conversations at all. But like having that chat with the guy at the filling station, while we're finishing up filling our cars. Cut the beef thin. Oh my God. More revelations for the guy. I still don't, I didn't know his name, but he whipped up his shirt, showed me his heart monitor. Yeah, I'm going back through this again, ain't I? But I didn't plan that today. It's yesterday now. But that was not in, I was just going to the hospital for the test. That's all. Fill, fill the Jeep up, get my mail, see what was up, get some, a couple of things for the refrigerator and Duggar and come home, which I did. I didn't plan on all the other stuff, the conversations, the 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 other stuff. But somehow it was already, get this, somehow it was already in the Matrix. What? It somebody had already written it into the thing, into the script. Hawkeye, you crazy. Hawkeye, you crazy. I know. Oh, it's another 20. Wait. Oh no. It's 10 minutes to 5. I need an excuse to take a hit. I know I got to quit smoking. But so in the quantum of things, I still did what I planned yesterday. I still did what was planned a week ago with the doctor's appointment and going in and having the test done. So that was all planned. And then that was the day to do it. So, okay. But all the other stuff was not in there. It wasn't in the book. I'm going to get gas. Did that. But chit chat, met a person, heart condition, similar. What? What are the chances of meeting somebody that has damn near every single thing that's wrong with him? He's being monitored for. He's going in for the heart cath. He's going to have it. It was exactly where I was at. So to just bump into somebody on this big planet that has 99% of what you got, and you just bump into him, and he's got a Florida tag. What the hell? So anyway, in life, it's like that. Well, I'm like, I want to drive down. Got to pray for my brother at 10 o'clock this morning. Come on, Brad. And it's not just Brad, but um, it's the Doctors of Shams. Don't know them, don't know their name. But my sister's going to be there as an intermediary, and we're all going to pray for Brother Brad. But my point is that she left Zephyr Hills and went up to stay with um, his wife because she's real nervous about the situation, and there'd been several deaths in the family like 2 months ago, and so she's real fragile. So all of this, none of this was planned on Monday, okay? Because it was Monday that they found out that he had his condition. Now this is Friday. It has got to this point. Other people have moved. The chess pieces have moved. This is just life, y'all. But I don't know what's gone on in between, but I'm sure my sister has talked to somebody. Charlene loves to chat, so I'm sure she's talked with somebody in the hospital. So those two individuals are doing what they're doing to be at the hospital so but while they're at the hospital is where the fun begins and goes. Having conversation with people, you don't know where the conversation is going to go. It's like an adventure every time. And so there are people who are like, oh, I don't want to talk to nobody. But you're a dumbass because you have no idea what you're missing. You might be sitting next to Admiral Byrd, who was at the South Pole. Look at him. Look at him over there. Well, he's dead, but look at him over there. You could have went over there and talked to him. Yeah, well, I didn't. Yeah, well, now he's dead. And yeah, well, but see, that's kind of sort of what's going on. All around, they have thrown us old people under the bus just as fast as they could throw us. And the older I got, I could see it coming. So I made sure that I owned this place and ain't nobody else got a name on it. It's paid for. Vehicles are paid for. There are things you can plan for in life. You can be thirsty, my friends, because you have to stay thirsty. And you say, well, Dave, it doesn't sounds like you didn't get much done with, didn't you get the short end of the stick there, Bubba? Well, I thought so too. But now I have this property. It does belong to me. Paid for except for taxes. Oh, taxes. Oh. They cut my check back $200 right at September, October, November. I got to pay my property tax, which is coming up. Probably going to be around $500. Where am I going to get it? The money that they took out of my check was what I was going to save up to pay my taxes. They took my money back and I don't have it anymore. So now what am I going to save from my income? Well, I'm going to have to cut off all my services. I think I'm going to keep one. There are a lot of freebies out there. I love Tubi, you know. So, and I've been watching too many movies and stuff. And anyway, so this is a good time to cut back on all them. I just, I'll just quit them all. But it's only $9. Yeah, and that was 10. That one's nope, nope, nope. Adios. Because if I can't watch, if there's nothing I want to watch, then I'm going to migrate to outside because it is the fall of the year and it's much cooler outside. It's time to go outside, right? So I don't need all the premium channels and all that kind of stuff. And now can't afford them, you know. So what do you do in life? You have to adapt. Sometimes you don't like what you got to adapt to, but you're going to turn off all the premium channels? Yep. Did you say all the premium channels? All of them? Even the one, that channel that, all of them? Yep. Well, damn. But sometimes if that's what you got to do, then you got to do it. I was headed over to Arby's yesterday, and I had talked with Duggar and kind of got him worked up a little bit. I had not seen um, the balance in my checking account yet. I was assuming that it was the same that it's been for the last year. $200 missing. What the hell? At least a big half of the check cleared. At least it's deposited. Oh shit, what am I going to do? I don't have a clue. But I'm going to take a deep breath. I got some time before property taxes due. So, but it means shutting shit down. That means no more frivolous stuff like having, you know, Darkwing Duck. Let's get dangerous. Darkwing Duck. That's my Disney Channel. There are times when nobody else can do it but Darkwing. And I'm just gonna have to cut it off. That's all there is to it. So, but in the grand scheme of things, I have been in situations like this before, and instead of somebody coming up to me next month and saying, you know, you were overdue on your yeah, I know, I quit. You know, I should have told you, but I quit. No, I'm gonna tell them, you know, the next day or so. I quit. I got to go out and watch some Darkwing Duck though before I quit Disney, you know. And I don't really care about Hulu. There's some stuff on there that yeah, okay, but none of it to where I'm like, oh my god, I can't do without. Nope, because YouTube is already starting to do. Guess who? NASCAR. YouTube is going to start carrying NASCAR live on YouTube. Now that's cool. Why? Well, the major corporations, ABC, CBS, they were the ones that usually covered those games. Or they covered games and they also covered the races too. And so CBS and them and you know it ended up moving into ESPN because they're the sports network. And so the CBS kind of folks, you know, they've been doing it for a century. They're like, well, you know, I guess we're not going to do this no more. And you know, and so uh, they have wallered themselves out of the business, which is stupid. Um, but now, you know, they're using different tactics to get folks back in it. And YouTube carrying NASCAR live. It's only for one race right now, but you know they're going to announce things as they come. But the fact that they're going to at least try it, we'll see. Because it hurts me. I'm not a gotta have a NASCAR logo to feel a part of the race. Now, my grandpa Raleigh over there on the wall, he taught me about racing. And then I found out that, you know, he run moonshine from Kentucky to Ohio. And he wrecked several cars, said Grandma, but he always had money to buy a brand new one. Now, I knew my grandpa, and he took me everywhere. He took me to the warehouse. He taught me how to um, mark the price of things on a can, how to line them up straight on the shelf, how to do these things, how to wait on customers. I was 9 years old. He died of cancer. horribly. But he took me to the races, and he had a special Dodge built. Nobody knew why. Now I know why. I'm talking with um oh shoot, I'm tired. Um with Barry. Um the kind of car that he ordered with the engine that he had, it was a special order and it was a special engine and I didn't know about it. It was a special Dodge 330 with a hepped up 290 slant six. But anyway, so that means something to some folks. No, they're right, but it's almost 3 hours. Holy crap! Oh, that's why I'm tired too. Well, I wanted to get on here and say, you know, Doseki, and I wanted to say, stay thirsty, my friends. Doseki, stay thirsty, my friends. Doseki. Okay, Dave, but seriously, there is so much to learn out, just drifting out there. And it's the new age in where, in some places, some cases, unfortunately, people's lives and businesses were flattened. But at this particular time, now you got a clean slate to build from. Dave, that is so, you don't understand the people. Yes, I do. I cried when I seen the devastation. I did. It hurt bad. Oh man, it hurt me. And it was just 40 miles this away from me. Actually, that away. No, that away. No, that east of me. Anyway, the um the eye wall of the hurricane was 40 miles from here, the center of it. So know what the rocking and rolling was with the storm. But the best thing that we could do was just hunker down. And I went up to bed and laid down there, and you could hear and the house just rocking back and forth. But I got my house built like a pole barn, and the poles in the ground, they've been told to let this house sway all it wants to. It will take it, and it has for the last 35 years. So I'm blessed, and my engineering tricks worked. Um, but now we're moving into a different era, and it's time to. I never got a chance to finish it. It's things are almost done. Like there's a piece of cement board standing right there. It is standing there for the last 10 years. It's there. There's one or two screws in it, maybe. It is literally just standing there. Now behind it is a concrete wall, and above it is a wall that's not finished because I ran out of money, and my back went out. I had the operation, and so it's just standing there. I can't afford to take it down and do the cement to cover it with because then it would open up a big hole at the top up there. Nope, gonna leave it where it's at. You know. And at this stage of my life, this is not a complaint. But after getting that $200 taken out of my Social Security check this month, and how badly that has hurt me already, take $200 out of my paycheck. From now on, $200 is going to be missing from my paycheck. That $200 that I was going to go see Barry on. The $200 I was going to go to Florida and finally go see where my brother was buried. That $200 they took from me was going to buy my tags because it's my birthday month and I got to go down and get tags, and they took $200 out of my paycheck. So now I'm going to have to figure out where I get that money to go buy my tags. I had it all planned out. Had it all planned out. Everything was groovy. And then there's a curve. A big curve. Half of the mountain come down and change where the road used to be. So it's been 3 hours. I have complained enough. But sort of my point in all this, I'm going to have to figure out how to, I'm going to have to get thirsty. What do you mean? I'm going to have to get thirsty. Dave, do you want to keep living? Well, yeah. Dave, are you going to, I'm going to have to figure this out. I'm going to have to get, did you get Dos Equis? Stay thirsty, my friends, for knowledge. Stay thirsty for righteousness. Stay thirsty for justice. I'm going to call around and find out what the fudge monkey can I get that money back, please? Because I could really, 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 really use it. That's why I signed up for it last year. But because it's the end of the year on one, and I just finished the paperwork, turned it in on time, but it's the end of that paperwork and the beginning of the next. And I think they took it out. I might get it next month. Dave's going to find out. But in the meantime, I have to adapt. In the meantime, I got to take this bad curve and I got to negotiate it. I got to do something. Because, the blue meanies will get me if I don't. So I was pissed off earlier. I'm tired right now, so it has drug on me a little bit. But damn it. Everything was going so good, man. Damn it. Well, I signed up for it. Hopefully they'll put it back in my check. And it might be next month. It might be next year. They might have changed something in the big bill. And now that ain't one of the things that we get to do anymore. Well, we don't know where the money is. Okay, I'm going to find out. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out. And if it's gone, it's gone. But if there's any way to claw some of it back, yeah, Dave's gonna have something to do. And that's the other thing. It's like, oh, oh, sometimes it gets so boring around here. There's nothing to do. And I was like, boy, if I could just get on the phone and 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 have a little tussle with a banker, just a little bit of wordplay, just a little bit of menage a trois of having some you know inner mental likeness thing with someone in finance. Oh, I am a whore for finance. Scene. Oh well, but it is real. My check was cut. They can always add one, but I haven't had any fucking trouble for all these years. Checks on time. It's the certain amount. It's the thing. It's the woo wee good to go. I got my check. Some bitch. So it's past my time, but I will continue to say, and I believe me when I say it, please. I do continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. You don't have to believe in any particular religion or nothing. You because you members of the League of Like-Minded Beings. Hey, Chloe, I love you too. Who else is there? Oh, Monfort, how you doing? Can I have your email? I had it before, but lowercase DWNULL. That's David W. Null, but DW Null 52, the year I was born, at gmail.com. Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Hey, don't cut my hair. Okay. All right. I love you too, folks. I do, I do, I do. That's why I get on here and have conversation. But the other thing too is, and you all know this, is that the angels in my head, they like you have got to talk about this. You've got to tell somebody, and if you do something, then maybe somebody will listen. That's why I'm here. So to wrap this up with the quantum realm thing, the matrix, if you will, it is the same thing. The matrix and the whatever. Oh, but these people look at it that way. Okay. And some of us look at it like this, which is it is much more simplified. There's not all the bells and whistles literally flashing and going off. There's, a person who comes out of the office and tells us, dumbass, go back to work, and we don't need no stinking buzzer. Um, gonna go all fully automated. Okay. Continue to pray because the consciousness, my consciousness, which is going to sleep, is like melding right, it's melting right into the cosmic cardboard cutout. Um, I'm starting to enter the other realm of consciousness. I'm going to split the difference for a little while, and I'm going to be awake enough to hear. Um, I don't know about the seeing part, the hearing part, the vocals. I guess I got to shut up and turn everything off. But um, in that, my frame of mind now is just molting, melting, molting, molting, huh? Interesting twist of words. I got cotton mouth so bad. Um, but that when your awakeness is slipping into the sleepy subconscious, it's in both worlds for a little while. Sometimes this much while and sometimes this much while. But we slip into it anyway. And that's a special place in that in between. But in the in between, what a shaman's duty is to learn how to navigate in that area. And so when I start slipping, I'm actually right now I'm in both spots. I fell off the cliff and I'm sitting on the toilet at the same time. You know, Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friends. I promise I'll be back more often. I promise. But I'm, and staying thirsty is a thing. Knowledge and the quantum field so I have been talking 3 hours about this, and I've been trying to mind meld with y'all in a way, as a community feeling. So, what does it feel like to be in this community? Honestly, so what does it feel like? Y'all are chatting over there in the chat room. I didn't see anybody fighting. So, y'all are being nice to each other. That means you respect highly the league of like-minded beings, and that oh my God, you know, I've been here for 3 hours. So, in any way that I was able to become a part of your life today is special to me, and I look forward to the next time. So, I love you. Be safe. Cheers. And adios from a grumpy old fellow. Adios, mi amigos.